afternoon, everybody. What's happening, everybody? Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today as leftists continue to break out in violence at Berkeley over a Turning Point USA speech. We'll show you guys the footage from that. The government shutdown has, I guess it's not over, but it's getting close to being over. We'll give you all the details about what all is happening with that. The UK has a dire warning for the United States that nobody seems to care about. Nobody seems to care about, and nobody should. And Anna Navarro gets made to look really, really stupid on CNN, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, considering she is not too familiar with logic, because she spends most of her days parked next to the illustrious, beautiful women of The View. Before we get to all that, guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We are rocking. We are rolling. Before we get started, guys, once again, I want to say Happy Veterans Day to everyone out there who is currently serving and who has served in the past. Thank you all so much for keeping us safe all of these years. I'm sorry we keep sending you into ridiculous wars, but, thank you to everyone who served. As always, shout out to our veterans. Happy Veterans Day. And congratulations to everybody who didn't have to go to work today. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. So let's get rocking. Let's get rolling. Before we dive in, guys, remember, tomorrow night, I'll be speaking at Stony Brook University here on Long Island. Make sure you pick up your tickets today. You guys can go over to Stony Brook University's ticketing website. Pick that up today, or the link is in the comments of this video. Check it out today. Let me throw it in the live chat real quick so that everybody can see it. Boom. There we go. Giddy up, let's go. Make sure you get your tickets before they sell out. The school has made it almost impossible for the kids to have this event, so we want to make sure we put on a good show for them. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m., Stony Brook University in Stony Brook, New York. Let's dive right on in, because as normal, which it shouldn't be normal, but it is in the world that we live in now, leftist violence breaks out at a major American university. Protesters clash with police over at Berkeley, the home of free speech, which I genuinely find to be hilarious, considering the people that are protesting are against that very concept. What I found to be more shocking than anything else about this was the idea of who was speaking. Was it a politically charged figure? Like, I don't know, Alex Jones? Was it a controversial person in the news right now, like a Tucker Carlson or a Nick Fuentes? Was it Candace Owens? No. It was Rob Schneider. That's right, Rob Schneider, the guy from Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, caused the leftists out in California to lose their ever-loving minds.
Last hour, we've highlighted for you as some fights broke out in this crowd. Again, we know 2 people have been detained as emotions are high and tensions are high, as we saw some of those protesters clashing with people waiting in line to get inside. We know the university has added enhanced security measures. They've called in a lot of police from Berkeley as well as UC Berkeley, and Turning Point USA has also hired some of their own independent security to be on campus. There are strict policies to actually get inside of Zellerbach Hall, but we know certainly tensions are high outside of Zellerbach Hall right now. We want to show you some more video here of some of that law enforcement presence as they took at least one.
Yeah, all that was started by the "You Can Do It" guy. The guy who very famously had, like, one line in, like, 12 movies 25 years ago. I believe that Democrats are starting to figure out that maybe, they're starting to run out of steam. But of course, we cannot examine what they were doing. We can't look at what they were doing without seeing the vileness of the people who were outside. As they stood outside, I want to be clear, of a Turning Point USA event and routinely chanted, "Fuck your dead homie."
Dead homie, fuck your dead homie, fuck your dead homie, fuck your dead homie, fuck
That's right, everybody. They are ready to bring down fascism. They are ready to bring down fascism. But they have to make sure they put on their surgical masks first because they're afraid of people coughing. I'm not somebody who would ever purport violence. I'm not somebody who would ever support it. But I think that if a lot of these people had been punched in the face when they were a teenager, they probably wouldn't have grown up to be such self-important assholes. Like this guy who decided to scream just insanities. One more time. Punch a fascist in the face. That's right, punch one in the face. But make sure you've got your face covering on because somebody might sneeze. That's just the world that we're living in now. And it's become the new normal. It's just expected that when there's a Turning Point USA event, that radical left-wingers are going to come out there and attack cops and break things and beat people up. Here they were trying to break through the barricades last night. It's wild. The LARPing revolutionaries out there. Of course, some of them actually do believe in the cause. Some of them actually decide to get violent because there are people out there, and I know a lot of these are paid protests. They're not. They're not. The people at the top are paid protesters, for sure, absolutely. But the people at the bottom, the foot soldiers, these idiots that are out there, they just think that they're part of something bigger than them. If they had been around in the late 80s, they would have been marching at all those Stonewall riots. If they had been around in the 70s, they would have been protesting Vietnam. If they had been around earlier than that, they would have been standing with Dr. King. These are very obvious things. The problem is, life is too good on a social level, on a cultural level. Don't get me wrong, we have our problems, which we'll get to a little bit later when we're going to talk about the very obvious tech bubble that is whooshing around right now in this economy. But some of them actually do choose to get violent.
Break it up! Break it up! Police! Break it up! Police! Break it up! Hey, white boy! Break it up! You're bleeding, bitch! Hey, white boy! You're bleeding, white boy! Hey, white boy! White boy! You're bleeding! Break it up! What happened? What happened, white boy? Relax. Take a deep breath. Relax. Relax. What happened, white boy? Hey, white boy, what the fuck happened?
Guy tried to rob me. Okay.
Can you guys step back, please? You guys can film, but just... Hey, you got cracked up. You got cracked, motherfucker. Give me the other hand. Give me the other hand. Can you please move away from me? What's that? Hey, white boy, you like him?
Do you want to tell us what happened?
Some of them actually choosing out there to get violent, and those are the ones you got to worry about. And of course, I worry about this tomorrow at my talk at Stony Brook University because who the hell really knows what's planned? But we'll see. Hopefully, it goes off without a hitch, and we'll see what all comes of that. Will there be issues tomorrow? Who really knows? Who really knows? But you can't live your life afraid of the least impressive people on planet Earth stopping you from doing what you need to do. As I said, the part of this that I find to be so funny is that it's not even like there was a politically charged figure there. You know, if you get your radicals on one side, you get your radicals on the other. They were protesting Rob Schneider. Are you kidding me? The guy from The Hot Chick. Really? That's what you're upset about? But of course it had nothing to do with Rob. It just gave these idiots. See, that's the problem with holding some of these events, is that it gives the worst people in America the opportunity to go out and do the things that they would have done anyway had they had the chance to. These idiots just want to go out and feel self-righteous and indignatious about something. So they go and protest a comedian from 25 years ago. And look, don't get me wrong, I like Rob. Big part of my childhood. Definitely. He was the bellhop in Home Alone 2. Some of you may forget that. He was the guy that Tim Curry yelled at for chewing gum. In one of the funniest scenes in that whole damn movie. I can't play it because I'll get copyrighted. But that's who they're out there protesting. They're protesting the bellhop from Home Alone 2. You want to come full circle? Watch this one. Rob Schneider played the bellhop in Home Alone 2. Donald Trump is in Home Alone 2. Now Rob Schneider's a Trump supporter. There you go. Take that, Illuminati freaks. As we come full circle. I know people like to connect dots that aren't really there sometimes. That basically describes Candace Owens' entire career at this point. But, just, ooh, look, that doesn't match, so let's all piece it together. But that was the big news of the day. Of course, there is also the shutdown going on at the moment, which is still happening. We're going to get to that in a minute. Before we do that, I want to pop the live chat up onto the screen. Let's see. Do you guys not believe me that he's in Home Alone 2? Do you guys not believe me that he had Kill Tony the other day? He was very good on Kill Tony. Before we keep rocking and rolling today, guys, do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Let's get the live chat up onto the screen. Want to make sure I say hello to everybody. Let me know where you're watching from. Also, if you wouldn't mind, guys, do me a favor. Leave a comment down below at the bottom of the show so I can read it after the show. Not in the live chat, in the comment section. Down below, it really helps out the algorithm, helps get the show to more people. What's up? What's up, somebody? How are you? Oh, Christina, what's going on? From up in Westchester. How are you? Good stuff. Good to see you in the show. That's right, 51st Dates he was in. Very good stuff. Stop, Kevin. You're freaking me out, man. About what? What the hell am I freaking you out about? Oh, Connecticut. That's right, Christina. Not Westchester. Not Westchester. Before we keep moving and grooving, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this show and everything we've got going on over here. I know a lot of people have a lot of the good stuff over at the Loud Majority website, but if you would like to support all the work we're doing over here, and I've got some big news coming up, I'm going to put the links in all of the comments. If you guys would not mind becoming a monthly donor over to the Loud Majority, $5, $10 a month, whatever it is you guys can afford. I know times are tough right now, but I really do appreciate the support. This is user-generated content, and we can't do it without your help. So head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com, and use promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on the website. That's promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on the web. Look at all this good. Oh, what the hell happened on my screen here? There we go. We got all that 250 merch. Pick up your 200. I really like this one. I got to be honest with you. That's probably my favorite one so far of the 250th anniversary merch that we're going to be putting up. Once again, loudmajorityusa.com. So, shutdown politics continue. Yesterday, the Senate broke the filibuster 60-40 to end the government shutdown as the bill heads to the House for the final vote. The Senate voted 60-40 on Monday to pass a continuing resolution to fund the government, bringing the U.S. one step closer to reopening the federal government after weeks of Democrats continuously voting them down. 7 Democrats and 1 Democratic leading independent And all but one Republican, of course, Rand Paul, voted against it. The resolution contains 3 full-year appropriations bills, including fully funding SNAP through next September, and keeps the majority of the government running until January 1st. This does not include the Obamacare subsidies that Democrats had been fighting for. Now, we funded the government for another 3 months. This way we can have this fight again 3 months from now. For absolutely no reason. Sources familiar with a call with House Johnson, with Mike Johnson, had House Republicans on Monday morning and said Johnson is confident that he'll be able to pass the Senate's spending bill. Of course, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said that he's focused on dealing with the bill that's coming from the Senate to the House, and we're going to fight hard to defeat it. So there goes Hakeem Jeffries going out of his way to continue to keep the government shut down for absolutely no reason. Absolutely no reason. Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey had some interesting words for Senate Democrats.
Well, look, what just happened in the Senate chamber was an absolute disgrace. I can't stress it enough. It was very profoundly disturbing to be there in that chamber where Senator McCain famously was able to stop the Republicans from gutting the Affordable Care Act. That's what got me to step up to run for Congress. Like, I literally ran for Congress in 2018 to protect our health care, to protect the Affordable Care Act. And I'm really gutted right now.
This is a look at the 8 senators who voted for this deal. Note that none of them are up for re-election next year. CNN's Manu Raju spoke to many of them. He joins us now from Capitol Hill. Manu, thanks for being with us. Why?
That's the big point. That's the big takeaway that everyone's saying, is that none of them are up for re-election next year. Now, you heard Andy Kim say there that he ran to protect Obamacare. He ran to protect Obamacare, and the big fight over the Democrats in the House is whether or not those subsidies are going to go away. But as my friend Brianna Lyman pointed out against Ana Navarro on CNN last night, I was under the impression. Now, look, I know I'm just a silly Republican. I'm just a silly MAGA extremist, whatever the hell it is you want to call me. But I was under the impression that Obamacare was supposed to make health care more affordable.
Going to hear horrible stories. People are not going to be able to afford their insurance. I don't think even with subsidies, they're going to be able to afford the premiums that are hiking up 100, 200, 300%.
Wasn't Obamacare supposed to fix that?
When people, no, well, not without the universal. I mean, there's
Affordable Care Act.
Yeah,
Affordable was the first word.
The Republican.
It's amazing how quickly Democrats crack when you ask them basic questions. Like, I thought Obamacare was supposed to make health care more affordable, so why didn't Obamacare make health care more affordable? Considering, it's quite literally in the name of the act, as Scott Jennings points out, the Affordable Care Act. It turns out it's not. It turns out it's not more affordable. All the Affordable Care Act did was provide huge subsidies to insurance companies. It didn't lower the price of health care. All it did was tell the insurance companies and the health care providers, guys, we're going to cover 80% of this bill so you can charge whatever the hell you want. The same way back in the 90s, the government promised that people would have to pay back their student loan debt, backing them with federal loans. So what ended up happening? The price of college skyrocketed, because it turns out when you borrow money from the mafia, they know they're going to get their money so they can charge you whatever the hell they want, which is exactly what Obamacare did. It was a massive bailout to the health insurance companies. It did nothing to lower costs, and Democrats won't admit that. Because it turns out, hold on a minute, let's review the 2 big policies that Democrats have put forth over the last 20 years. The Affordable Care Act, which didn't make care affordable, and the Inflation Reduction Act, which didn't lower inflation. It turns out calling something putting a nice name on a really bad idea is still a really bad idea. I love sandwiches, but if you put the word shit in front of it, it's still a shit sandwich, which is exactly what Obamacare was. As we've seen all the health insurance providers and all the big pharma companies and all the hospitals making more and more and more and more money. But Democrats like to put Band-Aids on bullet wounds, as Scott Jennings points out.
Obamacare has been exposed as a complete and utter failure. We all know it now. Everybody admits it. The other thing that came out is that Democrats are willing to make people suffer. And you heard Democrat after Democrat today say, well, we just couldn't prolong the suffering. So they admit that their political tactics were designed to inflict suffering on the American people. We also learned about cynical politics in this. But the overall issue of health care is going to have to be dealt with because the system has failed. Everyone, I think it's bipartisan now, admits it. But I'm not sure that having Mike Johnson commit to giving billions of dollars to insurance companies for insurance that's not getting any better, it feels like it's getting worse to the American people, is going to make a difference. I could see Democrats and Republicans coming together to discuss that. Like, if we're going to spend this amount of money, should we be just giving it to insurance companies, or should we be doing something else with it that would actually have a chance of making it feel like you could get seen by a doctor and get a better health outcome? But what we're doing now, writing checks to health insurance companies, is not getting us any better outcomes at all.
Of course, because like most things Democrats do, the Affordable Care Act was never about making health care affordable. It was about making it so unaffordable that eventually we move towards a Medicare for all system. Because right now, there is no other option on the table. Now, I have other options we could do, but of course that would provide short-term pain to most people, and it would never be voted on by the House of Representatives or the Senate. My thing would be to deregulate the insurance industry and make it more easy and make it easier for people to become doctors. Perhaps cash incentives to people who want to go to med school. Because if you have more doctors not dealing with insurance companies, paying out of pocket, you can actually negotiate prices with your doctor. For example, how much does an x-ray cost? No one knows the answer to that question. Why? Because there is no price for an x-ray. You go in for an x-ray, and then whatever company you're using negotiates with the insurance company to see how much the insurance company is willing to pay. It should be like a deli. You go in, x-ray, $50. That way, if people find that to be too unaffordable, someone can open up a new x-ray place across the street and charge $40. That is how market solutions work. Now, that would cause short-term pain for a lot of people. It absolutely would. It would be ripping the Band-Aid off of the bullet wound that Democrats have created with Obamacare, which is exactly why it's never going to happen. Obamacare was never about fixing health care. It was about taking the eventual step to a Medicare for all system, giving Bernie Sanders and the radical left wing exactly what they always wanted. And I gotta say, as staunchly as a Republican as I am, they could come up with something. Anything. We've seen, and look, President Trump has done it with the Trump RX policies that we've seen, where you can buy drugs directly through government websites. I have no problem with those sorts of, some people would call that socialized medicine. If you're buying it straight through a government entity, some people would call it that. Some people would be right. Whatever gets the actual costs down and not just subsidizing the entity is something that I would be very much in favor of. But it doesn't seem like anybody wants to do it for a variety of reasons. Some people will say they're in the pocket of Big Pharma. Some people will say they just don't know how to do it. Democrats will pretend Republicans wanted people to die. The partisanship will continue, and nothing all will be fixed. Nothing will be fixed. That's just, unfortunately, how this game is going to go. We're going to be talking about the Supreme Court in just a minute, because the Supreme Court may have actually just saved the 2026 midterms for Republicans, and I've got a feeling that a lot of you are not going to like what I have to say. But before we get to that, here's Jeremy.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, it's that time of year again, isn't it? My favorite time of year, fall. Oh, I love the leaves. I love the autumn smell. I love the pumpkins. I love it all, right before the snow flies. But what I don't love that comes with the cold weather and the fall weather is the flu, are the sniffles, the cold. all those common cold sniffles that you get every year. And if you have kids in the house, little kids going to and fro school, and they're coming back and they're touching everything and they're bringing the bacteria and all those viruses home from school, you don't want anything to do with that. You want to be proactive rather than reactive. That's why we're going to talk about propolis today. You know what propolis is? Well, ladies and gentlemen, propolis is what works as a barrier to keep the beehive absolutely safe. And what am I talking about? Well, Beekeepers Naturals. Now, my wife really turned me on to this. This is an endorsement of my wife and then myself as well. Beekeepers Naturals, folks, that is exactly what this is. This is a proactive rather than a reactive, all natural, all clean alternative to big food and big pharma. You've got your Beekeepers vitamin C packs, which are perfect for on the go, right? You've got your Beekeepers Propolis nasal spray. A few shots up the nose, clears out your nostrils, cleans any congestion that you have, and it's all natural, and it's going to work as a proactive barrier to any of that unwanted bacteria getting in. How about the Beekeepers All Natural Propolis Immune Throat Spray? 3 or 4 pumps of that a day, and anything that you're breathing in is going to be either repelled or killed right away. That's the amazing thing about propolis, and that is the amazing thing about Beekeepers Naturals. And I got a 20% discount for you. What's better than that? 20% discount. Look, you can even get the throat soothing pops and the kids prebiotic fiber pops along with the throat spray, along with the nasal spray, along with the vitamin C packs. Folks, they've got it all, and it's an all-natural, clean, beautiful option for you to have in order to, get away from the big food, get away from the big pharma, and go more natural, especially with a 20% discount. How can you not go to Beekeepers Naturals today /LFA and get your 20% discount? Clean out your medicine cabinet today with beekeepers.com/LFA. And now back to the show.
So the Supreme Court may have just saved the midterm elections for Republicans. Why do I say that? Well, here we go. Who's ready to get mad at me? Because I got a feeling I'm going to piss off an awful lot of people with this one. But so be it. We've got this story from the Associated Press. The Supreme Court rejects a call to overturn its decision legalizing same-sex marriage nationwide. Now, before I describe what's going on here, it's important for everyone to understand that I am not talking about this from a religious perspective, and I am not talking about this from whatever moral perspective you may personally feel on your own. I am a political being, and I am simply describing the politics of the reality on the ground. What do I mean by that? If the Supreme Court had overturned same-sex marriage, Republicans would have lost 2026, 2028, 2030, and 2032. Overnight, it would have happened. Overnight, it would have happened. Now, I don't really care how you personally feel about this. I'm giving you the political reality on the ground. Me, I don't really care who you marry. I actually don't. That'll upset some people, too. I don't care. I often used to joke around that I wished all men were gay, because then if they were, suddenly I'm looking a lot better. The reason why this policy must be put into place is because of the systems we have ended up setting up. And if the Supreme Court had taken that case, we would have lost the midterms. We would have lost election after election after election, year over year over year. Let's get to the story from the AP. On Monday, the Supreme Court rejected a call to overturn its landmark decision legalizing same-sex marriage nationwide. Justices, without comment, turned away the appeal from Kim Davis, the former Kentucky court clerk who refused to issue a marriage license to same-sex couples after the High Court's Obergefell decision in 2015. Davis had been trying to get the court to overturn a lower court order for her to pay $360,000 in damages and attorney's fees to a couple denied a marriage license. Now, with that being said, this is different than the cake case. Everyone knows the Colorado baker who refused to make a cake for a same-sex couple. This is very different than that. This woman was a public official and had a job to do as a public official. Her lawyers repeatedly invoked the words of Justice Clarence Thomas, who alone were among the 9 justices who called for erasing same-sex marriage when it happened. Thomas was among 4 dissenting justices in the 2015 decision. Justice John Roberts and Samuel Alito were other dissenters of the court that day. Now, why do I say this? I'm not even looking at the chat because I can feel your ire. I'm saying it because when you put systems like this into place, people operate their lives accordingly. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about death benefits to people. I'm talking about life-changing decisions. And if the Supreme Court had overturned this, whatever your moral objections may be, and I'm sure you have them, and I'm sure they're deep-seated, we would have lost elections until the end of time. We would have lost elections until the end of time. Amy Coney Barrett was not on the court, has said that there are times when the courts should correct mistakes and overturn decisions, as they did in the abortion case. But Barrett has suggested recently that same-sex marriage might be in a different category than abortion because people have relied on the decisions when they are married and had children. That is the key. I'm not saying it should have been legalized. I'm saying that now that it is, it must remain in place. It's not a question of morality. It's not a question of what I think. It's a question of it's the world we live in. And we have systems in place that unfortunately tie a lot of the things we do to marriage. So the Supreme Court has decided not to hear that case, which I'm sure has upset a great deal of people, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's move on because I do want to talk about, you know what, maybe I'll look at the chat here. Let's look at the chat here. Let's see, am I getting yelled at? Am I getting yelled at? Oh no. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Alrighty. I thought that was going to be a lot worse. I thought that was going to be a hell of a lot worse, but it wasn't. Very good. Very, very good. So, in just a minute, we're going to talk about immigration because of all the things President Trump is doing. This seems to be the one thing that continues to keep him above water with most voters. We're also going to laugh at a ridiculous Karen, and we're going to see a little bit more of Kamala Harris because why the hell not? Who doesn't need a little more Kamala Harris in their life? Before we do that, MyPillow.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD, for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. Giddy up, let's go. So, immigration continues to be a big topic in this country, as it absolutely should be. As it absolutely should be. With DHS moving into Chicago to secure that, I don't even know what you would call it, city under siege.
Federal agents here in the Chicago area are on alert tonight, following word they are being targeted by leaders of a major street gang. This comes as Border Patrol agents are attacked by an individual shooter. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin has the story here in Chicago tonight.
Chicago police get caught in the unrest in the Little Village neighborhood after DHS says a man drove up in a Jeep and fired shots at Border Patrol agents. Back. Now, after shell casings and video were collected from the scene, multiple agencies tracked the shooter, and a suspect is in custody.
An illegal alien that has a past felony conviction for firearms. This suspect's in custody, and they're pursuing leads based on this suspect. It appears he was in the Jeep, and he was armed.
DHS released pictures of federal vehicles damaged after at least 4 were rammed this week, and others were pelted with bricks and cans of paint. And Border Patrol agents were alerted that the street gang, Latin Kings, directed their membership to shoot on sight, federal agents operating as part of Operation Midway Blitz.
A shoot-on-sight threat for federal law enforcement, that's extremely concerning to us. We actually put that out on an intelligence bulletin to all federal law enforcement, especially Border Patrol.
Federal agents and their top brass say the rhetoric from elected officials in Illinois, calling agents everything from Nazis to barbarians, triggers violence and lawlessness.
We were protesting peacefully when, for no reason, the Gestapo let go of a flash ban.
Leaders in Washington anticipate more violence as people in the neighborhoods are encouraged to form mobs, record with their phones, and make noise each time agents make arrests.
It's really disgusting in the fact that they keep trying to turn the tables on ICE with this crazy rhetoric that makes us out for being the bad guys for doing a law enforcement mission.
Now, last week, U.S. District Judge Sarah...
People continue to freak out over ICE, so much so that now angry white women have gotten involved. And as you know from this show, I say it repeatedly, everything that's wrong with America is because of angry white liberal women. There are now things in major metropolitan cities called spotters. What the hell is a spotter? Well, what they are trained to do is to interrupt the CEC, because this is the way that Democrats think. They think that if you're white, you'll get away with things that people who are not white will not get away with. So angry Karen, affluent white female urban liberal, the awfuls out there, will impede what ICE is doing, then run away. Therefore, ICE then has to chase them down. And when they do chase them down and they face the consequences of the actions in which they've taken, we get really funny videos like this one.
That Mustang's coming on you pretty
By the way, $80,000 car, just saying.
fast. She just ran a red light.
We were up with you.
Yeah, that's a fast little car. She's right behind you now. All right, just slow down. Let me do this.
Yeah, come down here. Come down here. Fine road.
Okay. Turn on the lights. 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 Hey. Wait. Turn on the lights. Ma'am, you're impeding with the federal investigation. We have you on camera. We actually have news reporters with us in the vehicle. Your case will be referred over to Homeland Security investigation for prosecution. You will be arrested. This is your last and final warning. Okay. Hold on a second, guys.
Give me a warning. I have kids.
Give me your license, please. I will once again tell you, you have cases in danger. Put your vehicle in park and shut it off, please.
I'm just a mom.
I understand, but you are impeding. Look where you are at. You are almost causing an accident. You are surrounded by federal agents.
I understand.
Okay, I am the Deputy Field Office Director here, ma'am.
We're here at the Mustang.
Stand by. We're running the name. We're going to refer this case over for enforcement action.
I'm just a mom, please.
You got it?
Please, I'm just...
I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom.
Mom, please. I'm just
Kylie?
a mom. Yes, please. I'm just
You are just... You turn around and get out of here.
I'm getting out of here.
Here you go. Slow down.
Yes.
Hey,
I'm getting out.
guys. I got it. I got it. Got it. Everybody break away. Everybody break away.
I'm going home.
Kylie, look at me. Quiet. Look at me. Take a deep breath.
So she's real tough. She's real tough until she gets stopped in her $80,000 car, because apparently that Mustang SUV doesn't really have a lot of pickup to it. She's real tough until she ends up getting stopped. Oh, I'm just a mom. No, you're impeding a federal investigation. You're breaking the law. You're a criminal. Her case was eventually referred to DHS, and we're going to wait and see what all happens with that. But that's what has to happen. These people think that they're like, I mean, it is wild that they actually find it in their brains that they're, I don't know, stopping the Nazis or something. It's like too many of them have seen way too many World War II movies. And then but here's the difference, right? In those movies, when the resistance stands up to the evil fascist regime and they get caught, you know what happens? They die. They don't get let out with a warning by a DHS officer. Because it turns out all the fears in the world, all the yelling and all the TikTok videos of people being scooped up and sent away are all just that. Complete LARPing. Just flat out bullshit. Need any more proof of this? Need any more proof? I'm gonna pull this up real. Do I have, where is this? From our illustrious newspaper of Newsday. Where is this? I got the picture right here. You guys are going to laugh your asses off when you see this one. Apparently, here on Long Island, this is an article from Newsday. Let's pop this up on the screen. Oh, damn, make that a little smaller. Here on Long Island, we have a newspaper called Newsday. Now, this is a liberal rag that does not have a single Republican working at it. As a matter of fact, the one Newsday reporter I have to deal with every single time I have to deal with is dumb. Like, he's stupid. Like, first off, he doesn't even know how to use a comma, but that's not really the point. Here is a headline from Newsday. Second Long Island high school student has been detained by ICE. A high school student has been detained by ICE. They're going into the schools, and they're scooping up kids. No, it turns out this 18-year-old who's still in high school for some reason has a grand larceny charge against him. So he's an adult, he's a criminal, he's in the country illegally. But Newsday, oh no, where is it? That way. Newsday reports a high school student has been scooped up, as if to make you think it was like a child that had been scooped up. Some, I don't know, 14-year-old. What is high school freshman, 14? That is the definition of fake news. Now, all the way down in the article, they tell you that he's actually been convicted of 2 different crimes. He's in the country illegally, and he's a legal adult. But that doesn't say it in the headline. Now, that is the difference between fake news. There is a whole bunch of other fake news stories out there that MSNBC keeps trying this, and I don't know why they're doing it, because if you're on that network, you're inherently dumb to begin with, but they keep bringing on Trump administration officials to make them look dumber and dumber. See, I can't go back at Newsday. They don't allow me in the building. I wish they did. Perhaps I could write for them an accurate article that would stop people from using their newspapers to line their bird cages. But they don't let me do that. But when you have Scott Bassett on MSNBC, who is infinitely smarter than most of the idiots on that channel, it usually doesn't end well for the idiots on that channel. We'll get to that in 1 second. Before we do that, Old Glory Bank.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Guys, head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. Sign up today, guys. Support the institutions that are going to support your values, guys. Head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. So, MSNBC is very upset with President Trump for sending $20 billion in aid over to Argentina. Now, I was too when I first heard it because I read the stories in the press. I didn't listen to the actual facts of all of what was happening there. But once I figured out what was happening, I hated it slightly less. Luckily, MSNBC decided to have Scott Besson on to explain exactly what was happening, and it didn't really go very well for the idiots over there.
So, Mr. Secretary, amid this discussion of costs and prices and affordability, how does a $20 billion bailout of Argentina help Americans? You're the president's point person on that. Can you explain to those here who are feeling the pinch, including America's farmers, why the United States is helping out Argentina?
Well, do you know what a swap line is?
It's a currency swap, yes.
Yes, but what is that?
You're the Treasury Secretary.
Yes, but why would you call it a bailout?
That is how.
In most bailouts, you don't make money. The U.S. government made money. We used our financial balance sheet to stabilize the government. One of our great allies in Latin America, during an election, the president there won in a landslide. The government's going to make money, and I would rather use peace through economic strength than have to be shooting at narco boats coming offshore if the government collapsed. We have a generational opportunity in Latin America to create allies. We just saw an election in Bolivia. We're probably going to see an election in Colombia. We've seen them in Ecuador. We're going to see them in Chile. So by stabilizing the economy there and making a profit, then that's a very good deal for the American people. And there's a lot we could have been doing for American farmers, but Democrats closed the government.
So how has the United States made money off of this? And you talk about trying to make more regional relationships. The United States is shooting alleged narco boats in international waters off the coast of Venezuela. The United States has not provided evidence yet that those are indeed drug traffickers. So how are these two things working in tandem?
We are preempting the collapse of a government and going back to a Peronist agenda and a left-wing government. What if somebody had raised their hand and said, look at what's happening with Hugo Chavez, look at what's happening with Maduro, and they help the opposition there?
Yeah, hey, Mr. Secretary, I'm just curious, just to clarify, have we made our money back already from the Argentina bailout or the swap line or whatever you call it? Have we made that money back now? Are you saying we're going to make that money back from them over time? Like, what's the payout for that?
Joe, we already have a profit on that swap line.
So have we given them? Did we transfer $20 billion?
No,
and we've already gotten back?
Absolutely not. We made a line of credit available, and a small amount of it was drawn on, and we have made a profit on that.
On that so far. Okay, very good. Hey, Mike.
Oh, wait. So it turns out Joe Scarborough, the hairdo over on MSNBC, has no idea how currency swaps work. So he gets made to look like an asshole on his own show. Why? Many people were upset about the bailout to Argentina, as I would rightly be, as I am very upset with the amount of foreign aid that this country gives to foreign countries. I am very upset about that. I would like that to very much stop happening. However, it's been described as a bailout, which it isn't. It's a currency swap, which is very, very different. Now, I am not going to pretend to understand the complexities of currency markets, because if I did, I'd be making a hell of a lot more money than I'm making right now. What I'm saying is that it wasn't a bailout. A bailout is when you just give money away. We made an investment in another country to which we have already returned profit on that. That is the difference between having lawyers who have never spent a day in a courtroom running our country and business people that actually know what the hell they're doing. But of course, once they shifted, once they got made to look foolish, they then, of course, shifted to blowing up boats in the Caribbean. Now, I want to be very clear about this. I don't care how many boats we blow up in international waters. I don't. Some of them might have drugs, some of them might not have drugs. It's a war crime. Good, try us. Good. Bring Donald Trump into The Hague. Let me know how that goes. Let me know if we even get him to the airport. But apparently there's one country out there that is very, 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 very upset with this. They're very upset that we are blowing up drug smuggling boats in the water that is trying to bring drugs into this country. One country is well, actually it's 4 countries. 4 countries are very, very, I'm not really sure how that works. Very, very upset. And that would be the UK, who has decided that because we are doing this, they are not going to share information with the United States anymore about these boats. Now, the irony of this entire thing is that right now the biggest problem in the UK is that they won't stop small boats from landing on their shores, importing tens of thousands of illegal immigrants from the Middle East and North Africa, literally ripping their country apart. But they've decided that they're not going to share information with the United States until we stop blowing up boats in international waters.
A breaking news exclusive now coming into the Situation Room. Watch this. The United Kingdom is suspending, listen to this, suspending some of its intelligence sharing with the U.S. because of the Trump administration's strikes against alleged drug boats in the Caribbean.
We are joined now by senior White House reporter Kevin Liptak and CNN national security correspondent Natasha Bertrand. Natasha, to you first with this exclusive reporting. I mean, this is a big deal. The UK is arguably the closest ally to the United States when it comes to intelligence sharing. What else do we know?
Yeah, Pam, it's a really significant rupture here. Essentially, what we're learning is that the UK is no longer sharing intelligence with the US about these suspected drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean because it does not want to be complicit in the US military's strikes on these drug vessels and believes fundamentally that the US military's use of force against these vessels violates international law.
Oh, violates international law. Right, well, maybe the UK should go back and look at a little place. I don't know if they've heard of it. They used to call it their spice rack. It's called India. And try shutting the hell up. But how about this? Oh, no, we're not going to get intelligence from the UK anymore about boats in the Caribbean 10,000 miles away. Whatever are we going to do? What are we going to do? How will we live? How will we make it through the day? How about this? How about we stop sharing information with the UK until they take back Prince Harry? We've got enough ugly Nepo babies in this country. We don't need to be importing more of them. How about that? How about MI6 doesn't get shit from us until they take back all of their obnoxious Brits? Start with Prince Harry. Don't worry, we'll keep Gordon Ramsay. We'll keep Piers Morgan. He's okay. Beckham can stay. But Prince Harry, he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go, and he's got to go right now. How about that? Obviously, I'm kidding, not really. If we deported Prince Harry, that would be one of the funniest damn things ever, considering I don't think he's allowed in his home country anymore. I think we should. What do you guys think? I'll tell you what, put a 1 in the chat if you think we should deport Prince Harry, just for the hell of it, and put a 2 if you don't think we should. Let's have ourselves a little bit of fun as we wrap up the show today. Let's have a little bit of fun as we wrap up the show. A 1 to deport Prince Harry and a 2 not to deport Prince Harry. What do you think, chat? Let's see what you guys have to say as we proceed. Head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's your home base, your mothership, your landing pad for all things LFA-TV related. Check out the LFA-TV store. And while you guys are there, consider becoming a monthly donor over at lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's how we keep the train running here. Wow. Not a lot of Prince Harry fans here, huh? Not a lot of Prince Harry fans. You mean we don't want obnoxious Brits dancing around naked in our Vegas hotel rooms? We don't want that in this country? We don't want. What do you guys think? But yeah, can we keep Gordon Ramsay? Can we keep him? I think we should. I think we should keep Gordon. We can keep Beckham too. I like Beckham. I don't know why. Ramsay can stay. Beckham can stay. Prince Harry, you got to go. Guys, as we wrap up today, you know, I can't help myself sometimes when I see a clip of Kamala Harris. Because Kamala Harris is still out there on her book tour. She has now officially done more book tour stops than she has books sold. That's pretty much a real sentence right there. Where she claims that she was playing 5D chess with President Trump. Check this out.
I was aware of my opponent's strategies, and I wasn't about to fall prey or fall into those traps. And part of his strategy and those around him was to try and take me off our game and message. And I wasn't about to be distracted by those flames that he was trying to throw to get me away from my highest priority, which was talking to people about the economy and their well-being in terms of their financial well-being. And so I understood the game that was being played, and I made a decision that I wasn't going to get played. And
chess, not checkers. Got it.
Chess, not checkers. Yeah, three-dimensional chess, I'm telling you, you know.
A little bit of me misses her. I got to be honest with you. I kind of miss her. I really do. I really do miss Kamala Harris. Unburdened by what has been, with no self-awareness whatsoever. Guys, it's 4 p.m. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. I will catch you guys back live 3 p.m. every day right here on this channel. Until tomorrow, everybody, stay loud.